bringing us through the day's news and how we are here. We're now live with you, and you're here with Reverend Don and Mary. Why don't we go ahead and talk to them, say hello, and how are you doing?
Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us this evening. And how are you tonight, Reverend Don?
I'm good, thank you. Hello, everyone.
And I guess tonight we're going to talk a little bit about our Kickstarter campaign, where it's at, what's happened, where we're doing it. We are at $1,600, which is good. We got what we asked for our microphones and a little bit more, so we got that.
Yes, indeed.
Yes, we did. And hello to Brian and hello to Raven.
Hmm.
Hello,
And we
hello.
want and we want to thank everyone who has supported us so far with our Kickstarter.
Yes, indeed.
And we do
And
have
if you would
20.
still like to, it's not quite over.
Yeah.
Hello, Mary. Yes, you can still support us at witchstarter.com.
And if you chose not to at this time, there's a lot of different things that are going to be coming down to help us out.
Yes.
Um, yeah, so we did okay so far. I mean, we did raise our $1,600 for $100,000 for microphones. Um, we've gotten some help and we've gotten a lot of awareness out of what we're doing, so that was really important.
Mhm.
Wow, a frog just suddenly jumped in my throat there. Uh, uh, but I feel like we've done that sort of thing, so we raised that. And again, certain events of the day after we started, 2 days after we started, this did suck out a lot of air, and we will be doing some more. So, I think people are surprised. I'm still very strong on the idea of Kickstarter and how it can help the community. And I think there's going to be us. We're going to continue with the idea of Witchstarter and figure out ways to help people with their Kickstarter programs through our Pagan World TV project.
Yes, indeed.
Definitely.
But since we have the three of us tonight, you can ask us anything. We'll answer anything we can legally answer.
Hey, Marcia.
Hello, Marcia.
So, yes, we'll take your questions and we can talk a little bit about the Kickstarter. We do have the money for the new microphone.
And that will make a big difference.
And so we're going to be sending out the swag bags. We'll have to design the T-shirt and coffee cups. We'll be sending those out to some of the individuals. We've got at least one new vendor coming on board. I think we have one new sponsor coming on board. I think that's really important. I think
It
that's
is.
And of course, we're going to be continue to sell tickets for the Pagan Expo and Concert for the Gods.
Yes.
We've got some
Yeah.
commitment. We got some commitments to it, and so tickets will be continuing on sale for that even after the Kickstarter program. Because that's I think it'll be probably one of our principal fundraisers throughout for the rest of the summer. For that one big event that we're going to do on our television stations, and for people who have bought a ticket, it'll be a very interesting thing to do. I know that we've talked into one of the IMPA awards nominated female artists. Ebony Sir ELL is going to perform. She's going to do some video. Cloud the Rapper said so. Yeah. So the
Hello,
Kickstarter.
dears.
So the Kickstarter ends tomorrow or at Wednesday at 9 o'clock Eastern time. So that's when it ends. And we'll talk about if you're interested in other things. We'll talk about that sort of thing. Um, Our last Kickstarter that we just did, we've just finished sending out all of the books of the omnibus. Why don't you talk about
Yes,
that,
we
Don?
did.
Why don't you talk about that, Don?
Well, um, we we have been sending out the omnibus from the Kickstarter, and we have a copy of the clergy edition here. We are also bringing out now a paperback version as well, which is available at Corellian Publishing, CorellianPublishing.com. And Mary says that she loves hers, and Mary is showing hers as well. Has a little storm damage. But yeah, people have been enjoying their omnibus. We have all of the Kickstarter omnibus packages mailed out, except for the couple that are going overseas, and they will be going out probably tomorrow. And most people have already received them, I believe. And the omnibus is basically a compendium of artwork and writing, lots of different things, and it's over 170 pages of artwork and spell work. And so it could be used for a coloring book. It can be used for reading. It can be used for magic. It can be used for all kinds of things. And Brian says that they have started flipping through theirs this evening, and are looking forward to the section on tarot. I think you'll enjoy it. And Janet says she loves hers, and that it's a great teaching tool because of the pictures. And I noticed someone today, I believe it was Bradley, had purchased one of the hardback copies, but was also looking to buy one of the paperback so they could use that one as a coloring book without using the collectible one for that purpose, which I thought was not a bad idea. And you can also,
that actually sounds good.
Yeah. And of course, you can also scan them and print them out and color them if you like.
And by the way, I was right. I have number 13 of the numbered edition.
Very good.
Mm-hmm.
Lucky number 13.
I could not be more pleased.
So that was a pretty successful Kickstarter campaign as well. So I think for people who are seeing us utilize Kickstarter, people have seen the numbers, right? But I do think that as a whole, people are going to see us still support it. I think people are going to be surprised that the one we're going to run on May 1st.
I think they will.
Yeah, they will. We'll talk more about that one later. But on May 1st, we'll have another Kickstarter. I think that will probably be you'll hear long before it, but we'll really need help with. So Don, I saw we have a tile ready. We have everything ready.
Yes.
You're talking about going back to daily possibility of daily trying to do a little daily show.
Yes. Midday with Reverend Don at 1 in the afternoon Eastern time. And it'll be variously talk and or interviews and or other things of interest. And I'm expecting it to be daily. Of course, there will probably be some days it will be pre-recorded because things do happen on days, but that is the plan.
Oh, absolutely. And
great.
And you've got all sorts of interviews out there with people that you have not shown.
That's true. Well. And others that people haven't seen for a very long time. And lots of different things we can use in this time period.
Absolutely. So we're going to continue on. And that's part of what we're doing. So people are going to ask, how do you support, if the Witchstarter goes away, the Kickstarter campaign goes away, how can you support us? You can continue to become vendors, merchants, sponsors, and citizens of Pagan World Project. We'll be talking more about that really quickly here as we start to transcend where we're at. We're going to start being more independent, more exciting, more energetic.
Yes, indeed.
So it says people say the color of my hardback. Okay. I wonder
how much. Certainly can.
Yeah. There you go, Don. I think it is going to be interesting. And now the paperback. Let me go ahead and offer on the paperback. If you own a store, if you own a business, if you sell stuff, if you want to sell it to your temple members, contact us because we're wholesaling them. We're going to start wholesaling them as well. One of our sponsors, Sarah, has already asked to be one of the stores to get it when it comes out. at the end of the month, it's sent to the printers. We're getting some of our first copies in. But if you are a merchant, want to sell some, you want become anyone like that, sell them directly to your temple members. Contact us. The paperback is perfect for that,
Yes, indeed.
and possibly other
And
books too.
yeah. And the paperback has all the same artwork, all the same all the same writing. And the writing was from a project called Mini Spells that we did many years ago. And I've told the story before, but when we created the Mini Spells, we wanted to say that they had come from something. And so we made up the title Reverend Don's Super Omnibus of Magical Incantations and Invocations for All Occasions, which we thought was the most pompous and ridiculous title imaginable, and figured everybody would know this was a joke. And they did not. And they wanted the book. And eventually Marianne Kay created the book using the mini spells and my artwork. And that's how the omnibus was born.
I absolutely love it, but I have privately referred to it as Reverend Don's Tongue Twister.
For years, even I didn't remember the entire name because it was not in availability for a long time, and it's never been available as a book before. It was originally made available as a download that you could print out, but it was not actually a book. And when you printed the entire download out and put it in the binder that was available with the paper sleeves, I believe it weighed in at 6 pounds. The book doesn't do that because it doesn't have the binder, it doesn't have the paper sleeves, but the download did, and all of that material is still here.
It's a little more than a pound, though.
Yeah, it is.
It weighs more than a pound.
It's the Big Mac of grimoires.
Now, how at the end of it, we got some really good help at the end. It was our Kickstarter, but one of the things I would say is that the way we did this Kickstarter, we made we made some difficulties right at the beginning. I think that and talking about Don, we depended on a single point of failure. Don was going to finish up some of the graphics that were going to give us our next tiers. Hi from Europe.
Hello.
And so
Hello.
so we're looking at that idea, and we probably missed a lot of things because all the air got because of what happened with Don. But how are you feeling about that? People have been asking me, how are you feeling?
I'm certainly recovering. I mean, I'm still in that process, but I'm feeling fairly decent, much better than I did. I was talking the other day. I walk about 1.25 miles a day, and since Friday, I've been walking at a more or less normal speed for me. Before that, I was kind of walking like the living dead. But now things are picking up, and I feel like that's a very good sign. And I want to thank everybody who has sent me good energy, who has sent prayers, and I very much appreciate it.
All right, so let's go ahead and talk a little bit about what's coming up in season 2. One, we're going to have Don we're going to continue with the daily spell, which has been quite pleasantly pleasant. We have the divine. We have the divine comedy church coming up. You have a lot of we got a lot of different types of projects coming up. I'm trying to think about them, drawing some blah. We're going to be back in Vegas, starting our next round of looking for better services out there. We're going to try and improve our services. And what else is out there? I mean, we got quite a bit.
Well, let's see. I will be premiering my show, Witch Rising, and I'll be looking at paganism and activism. And we have got several other shows starting. we are going to have, for instance, Witchin' in the Kitchen with Phoenix Lenore. Phoenix is a kitchen witch, and she's going to be showing us how to make both food and herbal preparations. We've got the Revelations with Father D coming up, and he'll be giving us more information on his point of view. Let's see, we've got more episodes of one of my favorites, Lord Don's Library of Horror.
Yes.
We have been doing several reruns, and I'm glad that we're going to be bringing some new episodes. I know you have been
Yes.
working on that.
Yes, I'm working with Cosmo, and we're going to bring some new old movies
New
to.
old movies. I can't wait for that. We've got the Pagan Pride Roadshow with Reverend Lori B. And we're going to be seeing some new footage and some old footage of our legacy footage of when Reverend Lori has been touring different Pagan Pride days around the country.
Yes, indeed.
And yeah, Ed disappeared, but I was going to mention that I believe Ed is going to work on manipulating the lottery with his lottery experience.
We are,
Experiment
and
in season
actually,
2.
and I've been talking with some people. I'm looking about maybe we're going to get an AI involved. This may not be
That's
just
going to
that.
be cool.
I've been talking around, and I discovered, a couple of days ago, I was doing something. I interviewed Lawrence Lerner today for Journey to the Parliament, which is an ongoing thing that accumulates with me presenting a film to the Parliament of World's Religions that are going to be discussing about different people's journeys. And today I talked to Lawrence Lerner. Lawrence Lerner is one of the few technologically brilliant people we have in our community. I mean, there's a lot of brilliant people, and I think everybody's a genius. You'll hear me say that. That's what I believe. He is very much into venture capital, the AI world. He's one of the few people. He's probably the only person I personally know who went to Davos for one of the big Davos conference to talk. So he's kind of that level of techno. And he talked to the Magic.ai people and discovered that they may be pagan. At least one of them may be a pagan. And so we're seeing this new world of AI come in. So yeah, the lottery experiment might be a little bit more than just
I
you
think
know
that's a fascinating development.
yeah, it is. Is that can we might look at AIs helping us pick some numbers? Can see if they can help us?
That will be
Uh,
awesome.
Well, we'll have a little bit of that, and we'll try to work on different ideas. And one of the ideas that have come up is that the idea we're going to look at different games. When I travel around the country, we're going to look at what different games are like, what are the local games like, and talk about this idea of can we manipulate luck? Is it possible? And I think that's a really for me that's that. Reverend Michael, I want the lottery info too. Yeah, we do. Who does it?
We all want the lottery info.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, we do. So, and if we won, that'd be terrific. But I think just learning how secure it is. I want to talk to some real. I'm really talking to some experts about the security they put around it. They're very very tight. When I started poking around, I found that that the sites didn't really like me asking about the lottery sites didn't ask me like me about their security. Uh,
Well, no. I mean, you could go to the bank and ask about their security, and they won't tell you either.
they'll give me more answers than the lottery will. Uh,
Interesting.
yeah, they at least will tell you that they've got really good vaults. Yeah, and so you've got that idea. So and David Moore, I'm talking with David Moore, which we're developing the idea of a business show really shortly for Sunday mornings to have a really. He's already got me some. He's way more advanced on it. We're going to talk to him tomorrow night. So we're looking at that idea. So we're going to see more programming. And people are asking, do you want to mirror like mainstream programming? Is it important to go? It's not that we're trying to look like mainstream. We are mainstream.
Mhm.
And so we don't want to deal with the idea that we're just, aping it. we are using some of the forums, business and magazines and things like that, to do so because that's what we're familiar with. That's what we people like, and that's how we want to reach people. We want to reach people both through the boring, obnoxious rituals that people like on Sunday mornings. No, they're fine rituals. Um, and other types of aspects to whatever people want. So yeah, we're really pleased with all of that. Anything else with that?
Let's see, we've got the International Pagan World Cafe that will be starting on Sunday mornings.
That's turned into quite an intense project by that group, by Lori
Yes, it
Demenol.
and they will be interviewing different pagans from around the world.
Yes, indeed.
So that is a great show, and that will be on Sunday mornings at 9 Eastern. I was talking to Reverend Jedi a couple of hours ago, and he is working on his vlog for the season 2.
Very good.
And I know Lord Phoenix has been working on Millennial Magician, and Atalanta is still working on Everyday Witchcraft. I've got 3 new episodes from her. And we've also got some new episodes from Cynthia Skane and Black Mountain Druidry that we are just waiting to get started with.
And yeah, terrific. And we're going to actually have another roadshow come this fall, maybe a little sooner, from the Psychic Fair. We're going to be shadowing.
Yes.
We're going to be shadowing a psychic fair and learning more about how they live in the world. So I think that's going to be very interesting.
That will be cool because that really is a culture unto itself
Mhm.
and fascinating if you've not seen the inside of it.
Yeah, I think so. And you have seen the inside of it, haven't you?
Oh yes, but you have too. That's where we met.
Yes. Well, I think people.
Back in the day.
So I don't. So I don't know that people really realize that we've kind of stepped back from our roles from CNC and CEM. So we're kind of back on our own. We're doing the Crawling Publishing and Pagan World, restarting. But but we bought our we have a name for our next school. We're thinking about another school just for the fun of it. Different type. We've already bought the name, so I guess we can say Psychacademy.
Yeah.
Or Psychic Academy. And I think that we're going to dedicate ourselves to a school. We have, if you really want good religious education, there's a lot of great schools out there. Which school is fantastic? You should go there and get your clergy training, a lot of your basics. But active psychism, AI, all of this, that we're talking to our people on 8/8/2023. We're going to start a brand new school. That's when the doors open for our next part of the Pagan World Project, which will be Psychic Academy or Psy Academy, if we get that one to hook on.
Yes.
So that'll be broadcast. It'll be with the lessons broadcast. So we're going to see that very much a part of. This whole project is going to become part of, I guess, all of ours journey. But Don and I, our next evolution. I mean, after all, we're kind of the cranky old men who like, what are we going to do next? I always
we might be lions.
I think we are. No one's going to understand that.
No, it's too old now. But what else what other kind of reference should an old man make? Actually, I think the title was actually Secondhand Lions, wasn't it?
Secondhand Lions.
Okay, no, of course nobody would catch it for that reason.
I caught it.
Title. Okay.
Brian saying, see, that's interesting because I learned more of my psychic and intuitive gifts before I started on a clergyhood. I would have totally done that method of schooling. Well, I hope that you will. It really was. We might have to change.
And Jesse loves the idea.
We're gonna have to buy that version of the name too.
Yes.
Because I have a PSI Academy, Psychic Academy, or that's another version. We have to look at that. Beginning of our domination.
No, people don't realize how much how much you have to pay attention to with names.
You do.
Yeah. I mean that could be a class all by itself.
And it will be.
Yeah.
And so I think, so me and Don, the fact we chose to do Corellianism was more about Don's personal mission, his life and mission. Uh, if things would have broke a little differently,
Mhm.
me and Don, we'd be talking about starting our witch school after years and years of running our psychic school. Huh?
That's true. That it almost did play out that
It
way.
almost did.
But Spirit took a hand and arranged it differently. But here we are.
And here we are. And I'm glad for it because I think clergy and certifications and the way of becoming part of the world of legal clergy and being able to make an impact
Mhm.
is a very different way of teaching from a psychic academy point of view. Because I think
Mhm.
now we're going to utilize some of these AI systems. We're going to probably have, we had what was very crude before. There you go. I like that. Uh,
As long as I don't have to lose my hair, I like it too.
there we go. Uh,
We probably should explain that for anyone who hasn't seen the comment. It's a reference to Reverend Don, the modern day Professor Xavier.
mhm. We just showed it. There you go.
Oh, okay.
And so we're going to be working on that as well. But all of this is part of our Pagan World project, where we're going to try to connect you with the pagan world in general. Uh, and I guess having gone through this process with CNC and letting it kind of grow and mature and become its own people, and now everybody that's involved with it is came through the school system.
Hmm.
So we finally created online Osperos. It's a self-regenerating system. I think that's fascinating. And I think with one thing we wanted to do for like the Psychic Academy, people don't realize we also started Tarot College, but
Hmm.
that did not make it. Uh,
That's true.
I remember that.
it lasted for a moment uh,
Yeah.
before we incorporated it all into back into witch school, so everybody got their good value. Everybody got what they were looking for, and tarot was just more extensive. Now psychism is I think is really going to be back to it. And I think Don's going to be much more the traditional professor. We're going to use a lot more lecture style, at least at first,
Hmm.
a lot less that idea of being out there. Uh,
The technology is in a very different place now, and what worked well, um, what was cutting edge 23 years ago is not cutting edge today.
mm,
So things are approached a little differently, and
hmm
yeah, everyone is having to retool and look in new directions because of these changes in technology. Which technology is just an externalization of our internal faculties. We're all kind of evolving at once.
It is. If you had told me on my birthday I'd be back to being a CEO, running my own operation, and talking about building another school, I would have looked at you and say, "No, give me a year or two more before I do something like that."
Yeah,
And here we are today. So,
it was quite the journey.
hmm so we're going to continue talking about ways to happen to you. We have 22 hours to go on our Kickstarter campaign. We're at 1,657. I'm pretty content with that. We got what we asked for. It teaches us to ask for more next time. The lesson of the day.
Yes.
Lesson of
Ask
the
for
day.
more.
If but we only asked. So that's a really hard question because we asked it for what we needed.
Hmm.
Of course,
Mm-hmm.
we could always want for more, but we needed that money, and we've already began improving our microphones on that.
So Brian is asking if we see this as a more interactive sort of learning experience, so more of an Ask Reverend Don. And I do think that the answer to that is yes.
So right now we have the ability to do something we didn't at the beginning. At the beginning of Witch School, we were fortunate enough to be able to buy a gig of storage space, spend enough money to buy the name, which was not taken. We actually had a friend who had taken a lot of witch names and didn't take this one. I was so grateful. Um, and then we started building these sort of what they call query systems, and we built a database based system for the Witch School system that allowed us to enter text and pictures eventually, and eventually videos, into basically what was an active database. I don't want to get too much deeper into it because Witch School is still built on this system, but that was a very different system. Uh,
Mhm.
to do ESP training, we would needed to do it, generate an image, have you answer it, reveal it, store it, and that was very data consumptive. Now it's
Mhm.
miscellaneous. We're going to be able to do that. The fact that we have Tarot AI, we already have a program. If you out there in the world, if you look around, there's a whole treatise that I put out on how to build a Tarot AI and
Mhm.
how to build the database. So that's going to come into play. We're going to utilize AI systems to do chatbot work and to kind of act as backup mentors. We're going to have the same systems, transcript system, but less. We're not certifying anyone. I mean, you can't certify anyone for psychism, but we will have testing tools. I'm looking forward to having Zener cards so you can run through them now.
Yes.
Uh, I think we're going to see not only okay. So on Don, I think you're going to see Don not only answering Ask Reverend Don, but we're going to have definitely have a chat bot that we call the Eternal Chancellor, kind of there being built
Yes.
as well. So I see AI. I see a lot of AI coming into this. I think that Psychic Worlds. This is about applied sciences. We're not just going to sit back this time. Thank you. This is not going to be sit back and like, oh, this is how you do psychic readings. This is how you do palmistry. We'll have some of that, but this will be also like, hey, did you see that spell we wrote in Technospace that'll let you make $1,000? I'm hoping to have that too. So it's not just about psychism of the 18th, 19th, and 20th century. It's really what is going to be 21st and 22nd. hmm how do we expand outward?
That's something I think people often don't realize about the metaphysical world, that it's constantly evolving, just like every other part of life. And tomorrow's psychism is not yesterday's psychism. There are new techniques, there are new ways of teaching and learning, new ways of practicing, and that's how it should be. It's how everything has always been.
So I think in closing, I want to thank everybody's witch starter, and we're going to get a statement. But if you want to know how different it is, when we started in 1990, 91, and 92, that's when we began
Hmm.
our real psychic journey. We were very young men at that point. The idea of a telephone reading was done best by a few psychics and was literally thought to be so energetically draining that, and people acted this way, that they couldn't do them for very long, or
Hmm.
you do one or two a day. And Don did a fair amount of even then. Don was starting to be doing the readings by phone.
Yes.
How many of you give readings today in person? Uh, but
It's a vast change.
we saw, and we even started an office. I did what would be now called co-shared office for psychics in 92,
Hmm.
93, for people to have their ability to have their psychic, to be able to meet with their clients because people want to meet with their clients, and it still was not acceptable to do it by phone. There was still this physicality component. What?
Yeah, it wasn't until the 800 numbers came into play that really changed.
Of course it is. They advertised to the average person, and the person didn't know the difference. When we have shared, um, yeah, Mercado. He's talking about when I here. I'll let you guys read. Here we go. Uh, when I have shared Tarot Thursday with folks, they refer to Walter Markeldo as sort of a psychic left minus the Zoom. No, actually, towards the end, I bet you he did Zoom too. He was a man who did all of the media. He brilliant.
Yes, he was.
He's a beloved. He's a beloved.
And he had even more jewelry than me. He was flamboyant. Something to aim for.
But we're going to continue bringing all of this through the Pagan World Project, Pagan World TV. Uh, so, Mary, you have any last things to say?
Keep watching Pagan World TV. We have a lot of interesting things coming up for you in the next 3 months. Go get your ticket to the Pagan World Expo and the Concert for the Gods.
I think that's going to be an amazing thing. So,
It
Don,
really, really is.
would you lead us out in prayer as you do?
Certainly. Divine Mother Goddess, Divine Father God, beloved ancestors, we ask you to be with us and guide us as we go forward. Bring us the healing that we need and the instruction that we need to make the most of our lives. And help us with the many projects that each of us has in our lives to bring them to fruition in the best way possible. Divine Mother Goddess, Divine Father God, beloved ancestors, we thank you with great love and with respect, and may you blessed be now and always. And may you blessed be until next time.
Blessed be everyone. Thank you for joining us.